Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 14, Wrathcore, the Stampeding Brute. Now, like always, you know how we do these things, we're going to go over story and then my overall thoughts, but to be fair, this is the first book of Series 14, so it's not really going to have much context really right now. But let's go through with this. Okay, in my Series 13 review and all that, I added a few notes. The series still keeps their series names, with Series 14 being The Cursed Dragon, because I thought they were going to stop giving, subtle names, like the Warrior's Road and other ones. But no, they kept them. They just put them on the back. And of course, Series 14 is The Cursed Dragon. In my last review, I mentioned one note that I wanted to know what happened to Kensa and Senpeo. Well, it wasn't my last review, it's more like in one of my reviews. I think it was Targro, but I forgot which one it was. But, we do get an answer in this series to Kensa, who I do prefer over Senpeo. Someone wanted to tell me that the prologue from Koba's book was set 60 years ago, so that means Jezrin one point attempted to stop Tanner's quest, but Koba stopped him as he wasn't worthy. But yeah, all that aside, let's begin. Tom and friends had reunited with Storm. Eleanor had regained her bow, and our heroes had invited to a marvellous feast, until of course they were summoned by the king. Tom was jumping. Was it Jezrin? Had he returned? Apparently no. They had gotten word the Circle of Wizards had banished him from the court. Basically, he's no longer a member. But King Hugo did have a quest, and that was to go home and get rest after all he's done. Tom knew he needed it, but apart from that, he was upset he couldn't have a new adventure. Okay, Tom and friends were about to leave King Hugo's palace when they noticed Adra was acting oddly, but despite our hero's concern, they followed the king's orders and headed to Erenel. If Adra and the king knows something, why aren't they telling their protector? I never get this. It made sense not to tell him when he didn't have the title of Master of the Beasts, but now he has the title, he should have a right to know these things. But our hero's venture to Erenel was stopped when Vidra the dragon crashed down with Wilfred, the keeper of Ryan. Okay, Vidra is the beast of a special book, Vidra and Crymon. No doubt Wilfred and this kingdom Ryan place are introduced in that book. I have briefly read that book once before, but I don't remember it too well. But it seemed Vidra had grown in size to the scale of Furno, but he was clearly wounded. Tom and friends rushed to the aid of Wilfred and Vidra. Soon Daltek arrived to help transport the dragon to King Hugo's palace. They made a cover story to avoid Vidra being seen by the people. Adro then told them that Vidra wasn't ill nor dying, but was turning evil, and by the next full moon the transformation will be complete. Okay, this wasn't in the prologue, but it needs to be mentioning. This injury was caused by Wrathcore, who can shoot a powerful blast from his horns. Does this mean Wrathcore is a beast that can turn good beasts to evil? I'm assuming Kensa did something to Wrathcore to make him have that ability, otherwise it makes no sense why a good beast like Wrathcore would have a power to create evil beasts. So I'm going to put Kensa's blame on that. Anyway, Adro explained there was one cure, the glided elixir. Tom and friends would need to head out and gather the 4 ingredients with a map ready for our heroes. They prepared, and yes, Wilfred did mention Kensa was behind this. Now, it didn't specifically say where the ingredients are. Is it in Avantia or Ryan? I'm going to assume it's Avantia, as the map in this book is Avantia. Our hero is prepared to depart, and Wilfred wanted to come with them. They said no, he needs to recover. Adra and Daltek soon mentioned that the other beasts of Ryan had become evil, thanks to Kensa, and she and Senpeo had now taken their own paths, so they'll have one enemy to worry about. Our heroes were told the first ingredient they needed was something called a star leaf, but Wilfred came back saying he was going to come, whether they liked it or not. Tom mentioned if he can ride a dragon from Ryan to Avantia, he's worthy to come. This does tell me that Ryan is a separate kingdom, with this series beasts also living at Ryan. Tom must have encountered them in Vidra and Crymon, as he knows their names and knows that they're good beasts. Tom and friends rode with Wilfred and his horse Breeze to Arcta's lair. They had heard Wrathcore's roars causing earthquakes/tremors from the way here. They soon noticed some villagers had come to see what was causing the earthquakes, and they knew it was a natural event. Well, they knew it was not a natural event, of course. Arctur was about to show up, but Tom communicated, telling him to stay put. Tom gave Wilfred Arctur's feather from his shield to show Arctur that he was a friend of Tom. He wanted to help keep Arctur there, while Tom took control of the situation. I will mention either Ryan is in Avantia or Kensa brought the beasts here. I'm more inclined to believe the second theory, as Kensa wants to get revenge on the people of Avantia, who banished her into Henkral. Tom pushed down a boulder with the power of the golden breastplate, which means, yes, Tom still has the golden armor powers. My guess is, when Tanner died, the golden armor was transferred back to Tom, as he was the warrior who passed the warrior's road, and I'm happy that he has it back. It worked. The leader Ched made his men fall back as he believed the cause of the disturbance had moved on. Our heroes soon reached the town of the people who were searching for answers. They soon gained the people's trust by saying they were here by King Hugo to look at the rock falls. Before they left, they were going to have a drink of juice from an elder lady, who didn't appear old at all. Silver was on to her deception. The juice was acid. Tom demanded to know who she was, and the hooded woman revealed herself to be Kensa. Now, for some reason, I thought she was Petra. I must have forgotten a second that Kensa was the main villain. But Kensa had taken Tom's sword and got into a scuffle with Tom. Eleanor couldn't get a clear shot, so Tom asked her for her bow, and using the power of the amber jewel, his skills were sharpened and he managed to fend off Kensa. However, Kensa got the surprise on Tom and made a run for it. Our heroes said they had to leave and collect the Starleaf, only for Ched and his followers to overhear them. They weren't going to take any more lives, and they vowed to protect their own plant, because it was rare, the Starleaf, stopping our heroes from leaving. Tom and friends quickly made an escape on Storm, but soon realized Storm was injured. While Eleanor attended to Storm's wounds, Tom would climb the Murmuring Mountain to face Ravkor. Tom said if he wasn't back, they should continue the quest without him. As Tom climbed, he remembered he had given Arctur's eagle feather to Wilfred. So if he fell, it would seriously hurt, or worse, probably kill him. You know, I was having a feeling this was going to bite Tom in the back. You know, I had a feeling giving the token to somebody was going to bite him in the back, basically. Tom soon noticed Ravkor communicating through the red jewel, and Tom vowed he would beat Ravkor. Well, you know, he would not beat Ravkor. Wait, rephrase that. Tom basically said he would beat Ravkor through the red jewel to Ravkor. There we go, I'm with this. As he experienced his training before, which was similar to Vidra's, basically. I'm missing something. Tom finally got to the top and saw the dark horn corrupted Ravkor to be evil, which is similar to Vidra's. And that's how Kensa is making good beasts evil. Now, no doubt that the cure should reverse the others too, or does Tom just need to fight Ravkor? Well, we'll see. Tom faced Ravkor and his size had increased since the last time. Now either the beast has increased in size, or as the bull, he's increased in size. Anyway, Tom dodged a few of Ravkor's bolts. With very little space, Ravkor couldn't charge on top of the mountain. Tom lost his shield, but he was soon given an idea. He convinced Ravkor to use his bolt attack, which made Tom absorb the blast and fire it back at Ravkor, paralyzing him temporarily. Tom tried to grab the Starleaf, which if Kensa had sent Ravkor to do. Okay, so apparently Kensa had sent the beasts to guard the objects that would make the cure. Why doesn't Kensa destroy them herself, or better yet, send the beasts to destroy them? Anyway, Ravkor awoke, and Tom had no choice but to stab Ravkor in the heart. I should also mention in this chapter, Tom believes cutting off Ravkor's black horn will free him from the spell. But like I said, again, I don't understand why Kensa, nor does she send the beast to destroy the ingredients that will make the only cure. You know. And yeah, it does turn out that the dark horn that corrupted Ravkor to be evil is similar to Vidra's wound, and that's how Tom puts together that it's the same thing. That's how Kensa's making good beasts evil. So, yeah. Tom had moved his sword strike to aim at Ravkor's horn, and it worked. The black horn was gone, freeing Ravkor. Then he asked him to help him find the Starleaf. They soon revealed there was a plateau on the mountain where the Starleaf grew. Ravkor had faded away when Eleanor climbed asking the same question, what happened to Ravkor? I should also mention Ravkor had regrown a new horn that matched his 3 other blue ones. Daltek showed up and explained that Ravkor had been sent to a distant kingdom, who needed his protection. Daltek informed that King Hugo had sent people to repair Ravkor's destruction, and the next quest lies in the Ruby Desert, which was with a new corrupted beast awaiting them. This series had a lot of connections to Series 1. Yes, it does. So yes, like I said, that was basically Ravkor the Stampeding Brute, and like I said, there were a few connections to Series 1, with the whole evil sorcerer thing, taking good beasts and turning them evil, just to get, and to take over Avantia, but not take over Avantia, more like get revenge on Avantia, basically. So that was nice of a callback there. And like I said, I think I had a few stuttering issues in that book, but mainly in the part where I said that Vidra shared the weakness of Ravkor or the other beasts, how they're turning evil by some sort of darkened bit. But yeah, I kind of explained that a bit earlier on and fixed it up a bit. But overall, Ravkor is a dice book. I really wish I had read Vidra and Crymon a bit more, just so I would know a bit more information about these guys. Maybe it would have told me a few things. But, you know, for what it is, I'm happy that I'm going to be getting Vidra versus Crymon after I have all the main books. And I think it's a nice start for Series 14. I will admit that this book felt shorter. Mind you, it is the first book of, and because, you know, because it's set up, basically, for the plotting. Like, they have to set up what's going to happen, what the plot is. But, and, you know, I'm looking forward to reading the next book, Beast Quest book. And, of course, that leads us into the next time. And next time on Beast Quest, we'll be doing the awesomeness that is Vizlak, the Slithering Serpent. Till next time, guys. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 14, Book 2, Vizlak, the Slithering Serpent. Now, like always, in-depth story analysis, and then my overall thoughts on the book. So, let's get on with this. Okay, last review I had a couple of notes I want to mention that I forgot. Well, I didn't forget, they're actually on the video, which I put in notes. So let's just mention them again for those, you know. 1, Eleanor retrieved Tom's shield, and 2, I'm not sure, has Tom got Arctur's eagle feather back in his shield. Now the final thing I should mention is Wilfred still on their quest. I'm pretty sure he is, but ever since they arrived at Shed City, they seem to lost track of him. So that's something I need to know. So let's begin. Tom and Eleanor had climbed down the mountain and reunited with Storm and Silver. Soon they bumped into Wilfred, and they had returned who had returned Arctur's eagle feather back to Tom, as he departed to go with Vidra, with the aid of Daltek's magic. Daltek explained that the next ingredient was in the Ruby Desert, and it was water, located in the place known as the City of Snakes, which Eleanor heard stories of from Daltek. Or not, yeah, she did hear, not from Daltek, but she heard stories from other stories and legend. Daltek explained that Vidra's black spell was increasing. Time was starting to run out, so Tom summoned Furno to give them a lift to the Ruby Desert as they waved goodbye to Daltek. Wilfred went with Daltek now, so he's no longer on the journey. That's what we should know. Question. Why does it take so long for Kensa's magic to turn Vidra evil, when the other beasts are already instantly turned evil? And also, if Vidra will turn evil by the next full moon, does that mean the others will be permanently evil as well? As I said before, this is one of those series that raises more questions as I progress. And secondly, the main issue I have with this series, if Kensa knows about these ingredients, why doesn't she destroy them, or send the beasts to destroy them, to stop the cure from being created? You know, that way it wouldn't ruin her plans of taking control of Vidra. But no, she has the beast guard the ingredients. But for this one, Vizlak, now that I've read the entire book, it makes sense that it's hard to find because it's water, and in the desert, it's hard to find water in the desert. But moving on from that, Tom and friends arrive at the Ruby Desert, only to be ambushed by some terrible twisters, crashing our heroes down. Storm got buried in the sand, but he was quickly rescued, and Tom told Furno to return to his domain in Avantia and await their summoning for him when they gathered the water. Speaking of the water, our heroes discovered they had lost the second water supply. With only one can left, it wasn't long before they would be nearly empty of their water supply. Our heroes hoped the water was real, not just for Vidra's sake now, but for our own heroes' sake as well. Tom and friends travelled the rough desert at night time until finally reaching some ruins, which I believe is the City of Snakes. After observing the ruins, they spotted a statue, but soon came to realize that they could be in the presence of being watched. Then it was revealed that the humanoid statue was actually a man who warned our heroes that Vizlak was here. Tom and friends faced Vizlak, and after a scuffle involving Silver and Vizlak, they then outsmarted him by riding on Storm. Tom used his friend's powerful hooves to smash the ruined walls on Vizlak, trapping him temporarily, which I like. It's very rarely we see Storm to get in a badass beast action. Normally he's a transportation device or a plot device. But they soon realized the man known as Ralph stated that only certain group of people know their way through the City of Snakes, as it was a maze to some kind of treasure. He agreed to help them find the temple, but all the treasure was for him. As he stole the map from Daltec, Tom noticed and said he would give the word to King Hugo about this. Surprisingly, the man didn't seem to care that much, probably because the gold would buy him his freedom. When our heroes mentioned water, Ralph laughed, claiming there was no water in the city. Tom hoped he was wrong, otherwise they would all die of thirst. I must say I like this side character better than other ones, because normally we have side characters who are all goody-goods, but this one is just greedy, and the fact he doesn't care about the consequences of his actions is fascinating to me. Plus it would be nice, it's a nice foil to our heroes. I wonder if the water is the treasure, by the way, you know, like, the water was the treasure all along. That wouldn't surprise me. Ralph went into more detail, saying about the city was once full of lots of drinking water, but all of it dried out, causing the entire city folk to die of thirst, with only one person left making the map, and that person gave it to Daltec, and that explains how Ralph stole it and all that stuff. Another Twister showed up, swallowing up Silver, but they soon recovered him as the Twister seemed to move on. They then heard Vizlak's hiss. It wasn't Vizlak, but snakes. Our heroes assumed Vizlak had taken control of snakes. Kensa must have given them this ability, as our heroes seemed to know that he was never capable of such power before. So Kensa had given the beast a dark power. Ravkor could shoot his bolts, but when he was evil, that they would now turn his enemy into evil, like he did with Vidra, which sets up the series, of course. Now and as for Vizlak here, she gave him the ability to control snakes. Makes sense why she sent him to the Ruby Desert then, because there's lots of snakes in the desert. Anyway, Ralph, Silver, and Eleanor easily climbed over a large wall. But Tom and Storm had to jump over it. Luckily they succeeded, only to be ambushed by Vizlak. Tom finally saw that Vizlak's tongue was the cursed element with black hardened substance. All our hero had to do was slice it off. He did attempt to do so, only to be nearly sprayed by Vizlak's other ability, spitting sticky venom. Silver came back and took the hit, saving our hero. I should also mention, in this chapter, we also discover that Vizlak is the one creating the twisters, by rotating his tail and using the sand to his own advantage. So I give credit to Vizlak. He's really using the environments to gain the upper hand. Anyway, Vizlak captures Silver and makes a retreat. By this time, this is the third time Silver has been hit. Once when he first tried to go at Vizlak, second was in the Twisters, and now here, only this time it was a sacrifice. Which is ironic, because normally Storm is a plot device and Silver is the cool one, but in this book it is the reverse, and I have to give Adam Blake credit if that was the intention. Tom and friends ventured after Silver while avoiding the perils of some snakes. Soon they finally reached the temple and convinced Ralph to stay with Storm, as the beast is inside there. When they got in, they found that Vizlak had shed his skin, and now had grown twice his size. Tom prepared for the final fight. Also, my friend Adam Ferns mentioned that Vidra and Crymon never mentioned other beasts. In basically the book, Vidra and Crymon. Never mentioned any other beasts. So if that's the case, this story forms plot holes to Vidra and Crymon, as there was no other beasts mentioned in that book. If they wanted beasts from Ryan, why not A, have Kensa make more clay beasts, or B, Wilfred raised four more beasts and Kensa stole them? That would have made sense, saying Tom already knew it in that last adventure, if Wilfred raised them or something. The only other way to clarify this is that this info is explained in some other special, to be honest, but I'm really doubting that's going to happen. But yeah. Anyway, Tom got into a scuffle with Vizlak, which pissed Vizlak off, and he showed Tom the full power of his venom, as it had the power to paralyze the body. Luckily, only some droplets got on Tom's shield arm, but the odds of battle were clearly changing now. Vizlak's tail had enough strength to easily knock Tom off his footing, but then Ralph's greed got the better of him as he entered the temple seeking treasure, only to find Vizlak was heading straight for him. I should mention that Vizlak did get stabbed by Tom, but the blow wasn't fatal to stop Vizlak at all. The fight continued with Tom finally freeing himself from the venom. As the slimy substance had gone hard, he smashed it against the wall, which unleashed the tremendous power that was rising in his sword arm. Wait, did I mention earlier that was the shield arm? Tom's... yeah. Whatever, so it was the shield arm then. It was either the shield arm or the sword arm. I forgot which arm it was, but whatever arm it was, it basically was holding back a lot of power. And now that it's hardened and released, he's able to release all that power in one shot. Like basically absorbing it and building it up. And he lunged and righted Vizlak until at least he was in range of the tongue. He was about to spit at him with his venom, but slice! Tom had already chopped off Vizlak's black tongue. The spell was broken. Yeah, the spell was broken, and Tom explained to Vizlak that he had to cut off the tongue in order to free him. Ralph still wanted to fight Vizlak, but Tom just sliced his staff in half, saying there was no further need. Vizlak had vanished to a kingdom who needed him, just like Rapor did. But when our heroes reached the fountain, it was meant to contain water, but it was empty. But yeah, like I said in that chapter there, kind of it was confusing, like which arm was it, the shield arm or the sword arm? I guess it really doesn't matter, because if it was the shield arm, he could use it as a ramming arm. If it was the sword arm, he would still use it as a powerful slashing arm. Either way, it did the job. I'm guessing it was the sword arm, though, to slash the tongue, though, that's just my guess. But, either way, whichever arm it was, it gave the strength to finish the job off. And that really shows merit there. But yeah, Tom and friends tried solving a riddle to unlock the fountain, but no matter how desperate Tom tried, it didn't work. Ralph whined about being there, no treasure and all that. Eleanor finally had a go at him and he replied to her telling her to calm down. He explained that the women here once ruled the city, where men were treated like slaves, and this was happening all over again, he said. Tom now realized that women held the power in this place, so Eleanor was able to unlock the riddle and release the waters that rejuvenated the entire city with wonderful greenery and plants. The water supply had been restored, and yes, the water was the treasure as my theory predicted. And of course they gathered some of the water to help create the cure for later on in the series, of course. Ralph was disappointed leaving empty-handed, but was thankful they had saved his life, so he didn't have to die of thirst. Tom offered him a ride back on Furno, but as soon as he saw the dragon, he changed his mind into walking instantly. Our heroes' next adventure awaited them in the dark jungle where Tyke-a-Tron awaited them. My final problem with this book is Ralph's sudden change from treasure to grateful of living. If he had at least apologized for his selfish behavior, I would have been more happy, but despite that, it still doesn't change where I put this book at. It's still the best book of Series 14 so far, because that's not really much of a challenge, because Rafcore was basically set up. But yeah, it's easily the best book of Series 14. Hopefully, the next book will, basically be as good, because from the look of the cover, it seems like the most intimidating beast out of Series 14. So I'm really hoping that we get a good story out of that one. But for what it is, this is a great book, full of treasure hunting, kinda, with some desert action and adventure, tension. Silver goes a nice change, and Ralph, like I said, a different companion to the ones we are used to. Because like I said, they're either goody goods or they're either full-on backstabbing traitors. I'm not going to count villains like Petra and stuff, but like those traitors in Series 13, was it the Warriors Road? That one. But yeah, this was a nice change with Ralph having him this side companion go on an arc, because that's the thing. If you're going to do it with these characters, you're either going to focus on the main ones or focus on this special character and have him go for an arc. And it was so close to being perfect. If he just apologized for that behavior, it would have made it better. But for what it is, it did its best. It did its best for what it's worth. And it just goes to show that some people just can't fully accept apologies or stuff like that. But yeah, this has been my thoughts on Vizlak, the Slithering Serpent. And next time on Beast Quest, we'll be fighting another awesome beast. And that, of course, being Tyke-a-Tron, the Jungle Master. Till next time, guys. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest. Series 14, Book 3, Tyke-a-Tron, the Jungle Master. And easily, this has got to be, to me, surprisingly, the best book of Series 14 so far. And you could say that's kind of easy peasy because you're going on forward, but it really is. And I'm actually going to explain, because I was actually pleasantly surprised in how great this book was. Before I start, quick side note, in the prologue they mention that Tyke-a-Tron's thick hide is tough enough to deflect spears. I mentioned that for a reason. But anyway, let's go into the plot. Tom and friends were, before I should go on, it's going to be an in-depth story analysis, as you guys know. So that being said, let's go through this. Tom and friends were flying on Furno the dragon to the dark jungle to acquire the next ingredient for the cure to save Phaedra. Now that they brought up their last quest with Vizlak, this time they call Vizlak a she, which is bullshit because in Vizlak's own book it's a he. So based on that, and since it looks more masculine than feminine, it's a he in my opinion. So that's what Vizlak is. They then explain that Kenta has targeted each of the beasts of Ryan and plans to add Phaedra to her collection. So that means that she's a girl, I'm assuming. That's something I want to bring up. Where the hell is Crymon? Why do we never get word of what's happened to him? You figured Tom would be worried for that dragon, but I guess not. Anyway, Tom looks at the map and tells our heroes that the next ingredient is the red root from the hidden tree. Question, how does Tom know that? Does the map have the power to do that? That's revealing what's next? Because normally they would need Daltek to tell them, and to be honest, he does right after, so why not just have Daltek, Daltek shows up right after, so why not just have Daltek say the next ingredient is this, and it would make more sense than just saying Tom knows it. Anyway, Daltek shows them the moon is half full. They were really pressed for time. The map revealed Tyke-a-Tron awaited them in the dark jungle, but Tom was determined to save his friend. He asked Fenno to leave as they prepared to enter. Our heroes went forth, but no matter where they went, danger was at every turn. First they had to rescue Storm from a swamp pit, then Silver from some plant-eating pods, which has to be a reference to the 1995 Jumanji, and finally Eleanor was pushed into a lake by a mysterious force as our heroes were trying to gather drinking water. Tom dived in to save Eleanor, only to have himself also tangled up as well. They would have died if not for a mysterious girl coming in to save them from the drowning. Once ashore, she addressed herself as Emma, a girl who had lost her brother Polk, to a gigantic monkey. Tom and Eleanor knew that this was the beast, and said if they took them to where they last saw Polk, Tom vowed he would get him back. I suppose I should mention the underwater plant that entangles our heroes was called strangleweed, which can only be destroyed at the root. Let's see. Tom and friends were travelled by Emma, avoiding the village traps as they went. Soon they came across her village hidden above the trees. I should mention that they asked if the beast had any black markings so our heroes could find the weak spot. Sadly, Emma had not noticed that. Anyway, our heroes were riding up in a large basket to the tree village, no doubt a reference to Endor from Star Wars. They went to see the elders, but one of the gruff men, known as Wick, said they should be put on trial. If Wick won in combat, they'd be sentenced to death, and if Wick won in combat, they would be sentenced to death, and if they won, they would be vowed never to reveal the location of the village. Don't quite get the conditions, but Eleanor decides to take this fight, which I like. Normally Tom faces off against the gruff character who doubts the hero, but in this case Eleanor gets something to do, so that's nice. Eleanor and Wick fought. Silver wanted to help. Tom explained that it had to be a fair fight. Soon Eleanor got to the upper hand and won the battle. Eleanor would have killed Wick, as he refused to be defeated by Eleanor. The elders gave Eleanor the victory and demanded Wick to allow it. He did, and the elders kept their word, they kept their word and ended the bargain. They were given safe passage to help find Polk. Wick seemed to have hatred vibe on his mind, but sadly our heroes were prepped up to him, or should I say paired up with him and Emma as their guides, through the jungle. So they soon came across the last location of Polk, when suddenly a strange sound emerged. Tom tried to find out, only to be knocked back hard. Tom assumed it was a snake. Tom and friends soon discovered, as it was no snake but Tyke-a-Tron. His yells made terrible shrieks, and when Eleanor tried to help, Tyke-a-Tron destroyed Eleanor's bow with one powerful punch. Emma then had a plan. She asked Tom and Storm to follow, which worked. It led Tyke-a-Tron into a vine trap. They had captured Tyke-a-Tron. Now all Tom had to do was cut off the evil spot which Tom noticed was the tail. However, Wick claimed he should kill the beast. Tom tried to stop him, as the beast was actually good under dark magic. Luckily, the spear missed, but did hurt Tyke-a-Tron and allowed him to escape the vine trap. When Tyke-a-Tron was gone, Wick held our heroes responsible and planned to kill Tom. Okay, I'm not sure how Wick's spear can harm Tyke-a-Tron if the prologue made it clear spears deflect off his thick hide. Plus, I predicted Wick would do something like this, otherwise why address his edge to him. But I will say it was nice to see a captured beast. We haven't seen that, I think, since Calder. Tom disarmed Wick, and Emma punched him hard, refusing to let her one chance of finding her brother be killed. Wick called them more traitors and bound to turn them over to the elders after he had slayed Tyke-a-Tron. And with him wounded, the trail was easy to find. So I like this Wick being more of a threat than the actual beast, because he plans to kill Tyke-a-Tron while Tyke-a-Tron himself is just mind-controlled. It's something I don't recall seeing in the past books, and I like that. Anyway, Emma did question why our heroes wanted Tyke-a-Tron alive. They revealed some truth, that Tyke-a-Tron was actually a good beast, but he had been corrupted by dark magic, and they needed to find something important, or their kingdom would be in danger. They needed a way of avoiding Tyke-a-Tron's screeches, so they got some strangleweed to act as earplugs, while their animal friends would be their ears. I assumed that stuff would have a role to play. Anyway, they soon came across Wick. He had found Tyke-a-Tron with Polk, alive and taken hostage. Tyke-a-Tron roared, making Wick suffer the sounds of Tyke-a-Tron's roars. Also, they discovered, like the other beasts, Kensa had given Tyke-a-Tron a dark power. Ravkor was able to turn beasts evil, which was to set up the series. Vizsla controlled snakes, and Kensa had given Tyke-a-Tron a superior healing factor, healing where his wound once was. While Emma went to get Polk, Tom and friends were distracting Tyke-a-Tron and fended off the beast. It was working until Emma and Polk had to jump to faraway branches. Emma hesitated, but Tyke-a-Tron noticed her and shook the tree, trying to make them fall. He raised his clawed arm to grab his prey. Tom climbed to rescue, distracting Tyke-a-Tron, giving Emma enough time to escape with her brother, but now Tom was in danger. Tyke-a-Tron planned to send him falling to his doom. Mind you, it wouldn't matter, because Tom had Archer's feather, but I guess we have to forget about that and create some, we have to forget about that and create suspense, yeah? That's kind of odd, because, he has the Arctis, he has the feather, but I guess they have to forget about it in order for some suspense. Anyway, Tom decided to have the branch, Tom decided to hack the branch with his sword. They would both fall. Yeah, they were both falling. Yeah, they were both, on their way to fall. But Tyke-a-Tron saved himself by using his tail to coil around another branch, while Tom grabbed Tyke-a-Tron's ankle. Tyke-a-Tron was pissed and planned to end it. Tom finally noticed Eleanor was closing in. Help was on the way. Tom also basically could see or feel Kensa watching through Tyke-a-Tron's eyes. The stakes were literally high. Tyke-a-Tron swiped at Tom, but not only did Tom avoid it, but the weight of Tyke-a-Tron gave away, causing them to fall. Tom was saved by Tyke-a-Tron. He was good again. It was revealed Eleanor had used a spear to slice off the evil tail. Ironic. Tyke-a-Tron was immune to spears, but his tail was not. I like that. You could say it gave a clue to the tail's weakness. Tyke-a-Tron showed them the red root, giving them 3 out of the 4 ingredients. Tyke-a-Tron vanished, going to a kingdom that needed him. Hulk and Emma were rescued, and they went to the tree village, thanked by the people. Then Wick showed finally respecting our heroes and gave Eleanor his bow as a gift, as hers got destroyed in the battle. Our heroes left knowing the final beast, Falrar, the Snow Phoenix, is considered the most dangerous of them all. I'm very happy the side character Wick was able to complete his arc and trusting our heroes. It felt well more developed than Ralph's was in the last book. But yeah, like I said, this has been my attempt to do none other than Tyke-a-Tron the Jungle Master. I think I went a bit of a few scuffles there maybe, but I don't think it was as bad as probably Slithering when I did it, but I think I did pretty well. You know how it goes. Our heroes bump into this side character, Emma. It's very nice. They go and discover about Tyke-a-Tron. They go next to the village. Wick doesn't trust them. And then they go on this adventure, and when they capture the beast early on, Wick turns on them, and that's, set up. Then they go and get some strangleweed, and then it's set up there, and then they move on to the finale with Wick suffering the sound, and they have to stop Tyke-a-Tron, and it's left with, it gets to a point where Tom's left dangling, and it gets switched around when he hacks the branch and has them both fall with his sword, and he grabs his ankle. Tom grabs the ankle of Tyke-a-Tron, and Tyke-a-Tron himself uses his tail to support them, but it's not enough, and Eleanor saves the day, chopping off the tail with the spear, and reverses the spell, and it's pretty awesome. Like I said, this has got to be the best book of Series 14 to me, just because of the one weakness that the last book had, and that was its side character, because I feel like that was the one element that they could perfect. It seems that they've took what they've had and improved upon it in this book. I would admit there are a few stumbles at the beginning of like the Arctis feather stuff that shouldn't really work, and Tom knowing a few things at the beginning that he shouldn't know. But other than that, the stuff with the side character Wick, I feel like makes up for those little shortcomings. And the fact that it builds up to Falrar at the end, saying she's the most dangerous of them, is going to be kind of sweet. And now our heroes have got like 3 out of the 4 ingredients, so that's awesome. But yeah, I do like to admit that Tyke-a-Tron is the best. It's very simplistic, but it gets a bit more to it, because Ravkor was set up. Vizlak had a good idea going, and it was perfected here in Tyke-a-Tron, I feel like, with the side character. So that's why, to me right now, it's the best book in Series 14. But yeah, this has been my shot at Tyke-a-Tron, the Jungle Master. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And make sure, of course, you go and subscribe to the Dimensional Gaming Squad, where my dear friend Adam Ferns, There's Beast Quest reviews on the Beast point of view, so he rates the Beast and all that stuff. That's awesome. But till next time, guys, we'll be doing another awesome Beast, and that will be none other than Falra, the Snow Phoenix. Till next time, guys, peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 14, Book 4, Falra the Snow Phoenix. And it's gonna be really ironic now saying Book 4 for the final book, but you know, that's interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, isn't it, saying that. Okay though, before I go on, I quickly want to mention, I thought this Phoenix would be immune to the cold, but not to the heat. But I was proven wrong, as in the prologue, it is mentioned that Falra could dive into volcanoes and easily withstand lava without breaking a sweat. So that's a nice thing of information to know. And I will say that Falra is easily the best book in Series 14 for me. Sure, it's pretty easy peasy, because yeah, the best book is normally the one that happens at the end, because that's where all the big stuff goes down. But that's just my opinion, so Falra to me is the best book of Series 14. So let's go over, as we do, with the in-depth story analysis and get through this awesome book. And you already know that, like I said, that Falra is immune to fire, but doesn't seem immune to cold anyway. So that's interesting. Anyway, Tom and friends had made their way out of the dark jungle and were greeted by Daltek. I will say they finally mentioned that Crymon has succumbed to evil, so he's basically completely evil as well, so I'm guessing he's going to show up later in this book. Anyway, Daltek tells them, once again, they're running out of time, and he had no choice but to use his magic. He was hesitant, as it was very risky, but our heroes reminded him it was for the good of the beasts, and for Avancia. It was done. They were out of there. Next location, the Pit of Fire. However, Silver was nowhere in sight. Tom and friends assumed Silver was safe, but now they had to focus on their quest. Vidra's life depended on it. They came across a ruined village, where no doubt Falra had been up to no good. The horrible smoke was hard to get through, but Eleanor created a bark shield which held fend off against the black smoke. They then heard a boy yelling, and he told them his grandfather remained trapped in a dangerous cave. Our heroes had a feeling if they entered this cave, they could die. Remember when I said this series has Series 1 elements? Well, here's another one with the final beast being, and I quote, a flame bird. Because, you know, you get the joke. Tom, of course, being our hero, despite warnings of Eleanor, he handed Eleanor his sword in case he died, so she could finish the quest. Tom was a kind-hearted young warrior, and would not allow innocent people to die. With the help of Furno's scale, Tom managed to just save the old man before collapsing himself. The old man, known as Nicholas, provided them info telling about the beast that attacked him. Tom and friends prepared to head out, as they had a quest to complete. However, Nicholas had a strong feeling about Tom, and handed him his precious beads that he told would protect them against Falra. His grandson was very surprised to see him giving up an item that he held all his life to Tom. I mean, sure, Tom saved him, but was it really necessary? Well, turns out Nicholas had figured out that Tom was the son of Taladon, and then he mentioned he looked just like his grandfather. Okay, this indicates A, Nicholas knew Tom's grandpa, or B, and this one I'm clearly downing, that Nicholas is Tom's grandpa. But again, I'm more likely to buy A. I should also mention Tom gave the bark shield as payment for the beads, so that's a nice gesture there. Anyway, our heroes had to scout out the area for the final ingredient, which was called the Burnstone, and they had to check out what they were up against. So using Tom's shadow power from his jeweled belt, he separated his shadow from his body, leaving his fleshy self completely immobile. Tom saw that his shadow had seen a great pit, I'm guessing the Pit of Fire, but Falra emerged, and she was even bigger than Epos. She had Tom in her sights, and with his shadow separated, he couldn't move. Tom told Eleanor to leave, But Eleanor had a better idea. She took control of Storm and led Storm away from Falrar. Personally, I'm surprised why Storm didn't move himself away, but maybe he's too scared to. Anyway, Tom told Eleanor to push him off so he could reunite with his shadow. However, Falrar grabbed Tom's body before they could be one again. Tom told his shadow to leap off when Falrar let him go, so they could reunite. At the same time, Tom realized he had the final ingredient the entire time. The burnstone were the beads Nicholas gave him. So Nicholas was right all along. But Tom would have to get back in Falrar's grip if he had any chance to use them in his little plan, because he had a plan going in his head. Because now he knows that he has the final ingredient, he has a plan to use them against Falrar. Tom taunted Falrar into grabbing him again. It worked, and she planned to drop him at a great height, but Tom was able to use the power of the burnstone to destroy Falrar's source of darkness, which was a black feather near her wing joint. So you can actually see it on the cover here. There's that little black bit there. If you can see it, you'll know where it is. It's right there. So yeah, Tom fell but was saved by Falrar, now reformed back to her old ways. Tom told his friends the good news. Falrar faded to a new kingdom where she was needed, but time was still running out. Luckily, Epos came to their rescue and gave them a lift back to the palace. However, they were ambushed by Crymon and Kensa. Okay, couple things. First, that fight I felt was pretty short. As soon as Tom found out the weakness, he knew instantly how to beat Falrar. And yeah, I get why, last book and all, but it's still a shame they rushed the fight like that. The book is called Falrar the Snow Phoenix, but she's more connected to fire than snow, so why call her that just because she's white, I guess? That's kind of weak to me, but okay. I was told by my friend that there is a snowy volcano in Ryon, so that could be the people misthinking to believe she's a snow phoenix, maybe? The final thing, yeah, I did gather that Crymon would ambush them, because I was waiting for him to show up in the series. From what I'm told, in his special, Vidra gets more focus, so now, with Crymon, with his dark look, maybe he gets a chance to shine, even if it's on the wrong side. So there's a couple of things going left and right here. You've got the Falrar fights kind of rushed a bit, and then you've got the whole stuff with Crymon, which maybe he has a moment to shine here. The name, again, kind of confusing. So, she's either got the name Snow Phoenix because she's a white bird, or a white phoenix, or B, it's because she lives near a snowy volcano, and people assume she has that ability because of where she lives, but it's misdirection, I guess. Anyway, Tom and friends dodged Crymon's attacks, and at one point Eleanor was dangling as an easy target for Crymon, but Tom tossed his shield, saving Eleanor. They brought themselves back together, and Tom timed it just right for Epos to pull up at the last moment, which caused Kensa and Crymon to crash into the city walls. Tom immediately told Epos to leave, as the beasts were meant to be a secret. Tom hoped Crymon wasn't dead, but there was no time. They had to deliver the ingredients to save Vidra. On a side note, my friend has told me that both Vidra and Crymon are boys, so if I have called either of them females in the past, I apologize, as I haven't read the special, so I didn't know what gender to give them until now. Tom brought the ingredients into the wizard's chamber while King Hugo, with a new look might I add, it appeared he had shaved his mustache but kept the beard going. To be fair though, I preferred his original design. Anyway, Tom gave Hugo Storm to ride into battle as the heroes created the golden elixir, a bit of a tongue twister, and fed it to Vidra after some wise words telling Vidra that he's always been a good dragon. He was able to overcome the darkness. The spell was broken. Tom had saved Vidra, only Crymon remains, and luckily he was alive, but so was Kensa. They attacked Avantia, just as Kensa always planned to get her petty revenge for her banishment to in Henkral. But Tom managed to get on Crymon and climb up towards Kensa. Tom lost his footing and was dangling for his life on Crymon's scales. Kensa was about to murder him when Vidra annihilated Kensa by engulfing her in flames. So yeah, Kensa dies, and I quote, and I put die in quotes, because you never know what will happen in fiction nowadays. But I must say, it's ironic that Kensa gets blasted by a dragon, as that's how the same fate that killed Malvel. Remember with Furno, Series 10? Anyway, Vidra planned to save his twin by skydiving and breathing his fire blast at close range at Crymon, with Tom just getting out of harm's way. Crymon was revealed to be normal alongside with Vidra, so whatever Vidra's skydive attack with fire at close range did the thing. Crymon was revealed to be good again with Vidra. King Hugo called off the soldiers as the battle was decided. Victory was theirs. They tried to send a search party to find the trace of Kensa, as some say they saw her falling off Crymon's back, while our heroes believed her to be dead, so we have a rough guess if she's dead or not. Anyway, Downtech revealed that Vidra and Crymon had stayed in Avantia after their curse was broken, as this was their kingdom they were needed for giving Avantia now 8 beasts in their arsenal. There was a brief mention of should the beasts still remain a secret, but Hugo made one thing clear. Tom was a hero, and his biggest quest of all would be to get unrest, while Eleanor hugged Silver. That's right, even her loyal wolf had returned, leaving a happy ending on our heroes. So yeah, that was kind of I hope I did well on that. But I will say, when it comes to this book, it's a nice book for what it is, Falrar of the Snow Phoenix. It's got a lot of fun action and adventure. With the Falrar stuff is kind of rushed. The Crymon subplot with Vidra and that, yeah, I'm glad they had more focus, because this seems to be more of their series than Tom's. I mean, I know that both of the twins are not in it much, but at the end they're able to find their place in the world, and they realize that the kingdom they're needed at is Avantia. So, giving Avantia 8 beasts in its arsenal now, so that's cool. Kensa, well, we'll get to her in a minute. Or basically right now is what I'm saying. I will say, when it comes to Kensa, if she is dead, that's disappointing to me. You know, because I saw a lot of potential in her. And aside from this, she had one other scheme against Avantia, and that was Series 11. I know she was in, like, Series 12 as, like, a hench girl with Sampaio, I don't count that. Plus, she's the only female main villain, so I hope she's still alive, for sake so we can have some variety. Spoiler alert for past books, but I'm wondering why you're watching these out of order, since we're going to spoilers. But anyway, here we go. Spoiler alert. Anyway, Malvel dies in Series 10, and I felt that was satisfying. After having 7 series focusing on him, we had enough time to grow to hate Malvel. Sampaio is probably the weakest villain to me, so I'm glad he's not getting much main focus. Jezrin was a villain with a lot of power and control, who really tested Tom for, say, 2 series, I believe. And Velmal had a great impact on Tom's personal life, and it was satisfying that Freya took him down. But I guess not, as next time we do Series 15 with Velmal's Revenge, with his first new evil beast, known as... let's take a look. Wardock, the Sky Terror. Till next time, guys. Peace.